Alrighty, folks. I am so sorry to say that it was a very brief Worlds run this month for me. Was really hoping to put on a better show with this being my first World Championships, but can't win every tournament. Can't have a good run every tournament. Sometimes these things just happen. And while I think my draws were really unfortunate, I do think there are also some issues with how I chose to approach this field. And also just some deck building choices I made that certainly show a difference in approach because the other player who brought Last Wish is currently locked for the upper finals. So it might not be necessarily just a problem in execution. It might also be a problem in strategy. We'll talk about where I feel like I might have gone wrong and also where I think this deck might be able to go in the future because I do think this deck has a real shot at being a mainstay of the format moving forward. But before we dive into all of that, as usual, links are in the description below for all of your key resources for all things Revolution Custom Standard. That is, of course, all of the resources for LackeyBot and Escape from Limbo. Check out the different card searches and the compendium as you please. You can also check out the tournament bracket in the description to see how Worlds has gone. And also, there are two additional things going on right now. First and foremost is that once it is live, this video's end card will have a link to the upper bracket commentary. My run may be over, but there will still be 3 more videos coming talking about each of the finals matches, the upper bracket finals, the lower bracket finals, and the grand finals. So while my run may be done, we're not done with World Champs just yet. The other big piece of news, I won't spend too much time on it today, but we have had the 2 sets rotating in next May announced since my run has happened. Pretty much, I believe it was announced the day prior to my second match. So we've got that to look forward to as well. I'll withhold mentioning them here. If you're really desperate to know now, check out that description, find the link to the Custom Magic Discord server, and dig in on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to keep that secret for when we start getting the set reviews live. But it's certainly a very fun, exciting rotation, and it's going to be a very different kind of set review for me. While trying to keep things structured very similarly, I will have to experience some interesting new approaches to talking about some of the cards in this set review, to put it mildly. So, Red Green Wish Ramp. I think the biggest flaw here, and this is something I've seen other people echo in terms of their thoughts on where this deck was, and it's that if you're gonna lean on something like Last Wish, you really do want the things you're getting out of your sideboard to be monumental. And I think we just did not have that wow factor in the same way. We have some big things to play out of the sideboard. We have End of Mutations. We have Vasilisa Helping Hand. We have Plaguebane Hulk and Stonework Titan. But so many of these cards are targeted at particular matchups or targeted at helping shore up particular issues rather than being cards we get specifically to leverage our mana and jump ahead and pressure the opponent down. Everything in our sideboard that we're last wishing for is primarily toolboxy rather than winning the game. And that was really the fatal flaw in how I chose to approach building the sideboard here. I think there are, smaller little details on ways that I could have changed things. I think archival storage, I don't quite recall what the intent of archival storage was here because it doesn't deal with a lot of the key things that are doing stuff in the graveyard. Like, it shuts off flashback on Reclaim the Fallen, it shuts off Surface, but it doesn't meaningfully do that in a way that Faces of the Faceless doesn't. And I specifically brought archival storage thinking that I would not care for needing something to target Envoy of the Fallen specifically. I was right in that assessment. Faces the Faceless kind of targets Envoy anyways. I think I probably should have just been on Crucible of the Burning Sun in place of Archival Storage, though. I mean, Crucible would have just been a more stable alternative to Archival Storage, given where the GP landed, and also just given the key Graveyard Matters tools that are available right now, having a 2-mana quote-unquote Leyline of the Void would be pretty reasonable, all things considered. Otherwise, beyond the threats that are present in the sideboard, I think one of the things that I really wish is that I'd had a copy of Aurora Buffer Exec and a copy of Hoenn Champion in the sideboard. I was definitely very high on End of Mutations, and the process of playing the matches where I did really reveals to me just how awkward this card can be when it's not into a matchup where it shines. It is a card that really does put Control in a bind. But also, if Control is navigating well enough, they can stomach the 5 damage hit to just remove this on your turn, and then still take over the game from there. So I think End of Mutation's not awful, but it's not something that just completely locks out a Control matchup. And it's a lot sketchier into other opponents beyond that. Whereas Hoenn Champion is, at a bare minimum, 3 bodies across a single card. It is 7 points of damage immediately, and it is 7 points of damage with Vigilance that can also defend. It slows down go wide decks. The only hiccups I have with Hoenn Champion are that it is really awkward in the face of some of our better board wipes. Everything that it creates dies to Nightfall. Everything that it creates dies to our own Nillicent Leyspires. And also that this no more than 2 creatures can attack or block each combat starts to become a drawback if we have any creatures with Menace coming at us. So that can be a little awkward, but for the most part, I think Hoenn Champion probably would have just been the better 6-drop to have in the sideboard than End of Mutations, and I really, really wish I'd had Aurora in the sideboard, because I found myself looking at Last Wish and feeling like it wasn't really worth going for any big Haymaker, because I would have wanted like more mana in some cases, actually. And Aurora is the kind of Haymaker that both does the big mana stuff, can really go crazy with just rushing a bunch of lands into play. But if I'm running Crumbling Tower in the sideboard for being able to tee up some of these Aurora lines, having the option to have Crumbling Tower in play and use Last Wish to instead find Aurora seems like a very valid course of action, especially since Last Wish nets us exactly 5 mana in the worst case scenario, pretty much, where we can cast Aurora off of Last Wish pretty reliably. I think some of the artifact stuff also didn't quite come together. Venture Capitalist, we didn't get to see a ton of work from. This is really awkward when you want to try and play this as an early blocker. You do just have to sacrifice some of the value here. That is something that I didn't spend enough time considering. I didn't spend enough time considering what my faster opponents were going to look like, because the only fast deck that I spent a lot of time preparing myself for was the blue-red tempo deck that won last month. I really liked how this deck was feeling into that blue-red tempo matchup. I spent a lot of time playtesting this exact 75 against blue-red tempo, and even with playing those games consistently where I was on the draw, I found myself able to recover the board quickly enough or push through some of the disruption that blue-red tempo is able to present by way of just a sheer mana advantage. But I did not spend enough time thinking about my more red aggressive matchups, and we ran into 2 of those decks, and they did just kind of rush me down. So what can you do? I do also want to take this moment to say that I just had some awful draws in there too. At the end of the day, you're going to flood out sometimes. You're going to get mana screwed sometimes. And you can either be really upset about it, or you can kind of just roll with it. And I think part of me wants to be upset about it, given that this was the World Champs. But like I said in the opening of the Match 1 video, this may be the highest the stakes get for Revolution. the stakes are still really low. There's no cash prize or anything. This is still all for the love of the game. So at the end of the day, I can't be too upset about how it went. I am honored that I got to earn my seat for Worlds for the first time. Was a big, exciting moment when I got to win a GP and get a spot at Worlds. I remember feeling really great about that, and it was a lot of fun to prepare for this tournament, even if it really didn't go my way. But at the end of the day, it's a 16-player tournament. Only one person gets to come out on top, so naturally that means that I and 14 others have to step aside, or I have to outlast 15 other people, and I did not make that outlasting actually happen. So I can't actually be too upset about it. I think I like the theory of what I cooked up here. The execution was a bit faulty. I hope this inspires other folks to start pursuing what this could look like post-rotation, because the bones, for the most part, do persist through rotation here. We are losing some things in the Cyberus rotation. Most importantly, the Venture Capitalist package does get significantly weaker because we are losing Stella's Journal and we are losing Warpway Ring. Stella's Journal, the one thing that really helped us tear ahead on the one matchup where we actually won a game. Granted, Hoenn Champion was the real MVP of that match, but Stella's Journal is something that is going to be dearly missed for a build like this, as is Warpway Rings. I don't think you necessarily want to give up on the more diverse mana base, because the Strathian Gentrifiers is still so good. But certainly, Stella's Journal is one less reason to care about so many unique land names. And Warpway Rings, again, as well, off of Venture Capitalist, no longer an option, so this can't just go find your land drop. So that'll hurt as well. The biggest hit, though, unsurprisingly, Terminal Impact is rotating. This is finally getting out of our hair. I think a lot of people are going to be very relieved to see this go. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm not one of them. I don't hate this card by any measure, but it has been one of the things that just defines what Red is capable of in the past 2 years. And so it's nice to see that space open up and see how folks approach their burn suites moving forward now that Terminal Impact is no longer something people will have access to. So Terminal Impact leaving is definitely going to shake things up. Venture Capitalist getting weaker is going to shake up how this deck necessarily gets built. I do think that if you cut the Venture Capitalist, you could probably get away with just like the Ring of Promised Vows, maybe not even the Root Fossil, probably not the Atomic Cores. You probably don't play these like artifacts in the main. And that opens up some room for more interaction in the deck, as well as more haymakers. So hopefully that can let the deck pivot to be a bit more proactive consistently. And I do think Ramp is going to have a very real place moving forward. Aurora is just such a spectacular card. Huskforger Acolyte is going to consistently just be one of the best one-drops we have while it's around. I think the bones of this are absolutely going to work. It's just a case of thinking about what you want to get off of Last Wish. Now, I do want to address the elephant in the room, which is that the other Last Wish pilot in the field, Lee, is at the upper finals. We are going to get to watch Lee play at least 2 of the 3 finals matches. Either Lee wins the upper finals and gets into the grand finals, loses the upper finals and gets into the lower finals, and then either loses there for only 2 matches in that regard, or wins the lower finals and gets to the grand finals anyways, which would result in us having 3 matches, every single finals match potentially with Lee in it. So we're going to still see a lot of Last Wish getting played at the end of this month. And we should talk about what Lee did differently than me. The most important thing there is that Lee is not 2 colors and is not Ramp. It is a teamer control deck playing blue to, instead of have Venture Capitalist as a secondary toolbox package, run Iviana Dragon Tamer as a toolbox package. This is Teamer Dragon Control with a Last Wish package as well, so Last Wish can grab any of the dragons out of the sideboard in a pinch. But Last Wish, in a Teamer shell specifically, also has a combo kill. Specifically, you Last Wish for Black Dawn Historian, notably 5 mana, so easily castable off of Last Wish pretty much anytime you have Last Wish online. 3, a blue, and a red for a 4/4 Moonfolk Wizard that exiles an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard when it enters. You may cast it until the end of your next turn, and when you do, you copy that card and may choose new targets for the copy. So, what Black Dawn Historian does off of Last Wish is it sets a 4/4 blocker in play and tees up that same Last Wish to then be double cast on the next turn. And when you double cast Last Wish, that nets you 10 mana for 6, so you go up 4 mana, and you can then play 2 cards from your sideboard. Those 2 cards, in Lee's case, are going to be Resource Inversion, 5 and triple green for a 9/10 legendary error that lets you cast permanent spells as though they had flash, and replaces the tap symbol with the untap symbol on activated abilities in your second main phase. And Altar of Chrome, a 1-mana artifact that has an additional cost to tap 4 untapped artifacts and or lands you control to cast. It taps to drain each opponent for 1, and you can tap 4 untapped artifacts and or lands you control to untap Altar of Chrome. This combo works by way of Altar of Chrome. You activate the last ability, tapping the altar and 3 lands, and then use Resource Inversion to pay untap as the cost to drain opponents for 1 with Altar of Chrome, and untap all 3 of your lands that just got tapped, rather than letting the Altar of Chrome's native untap ability actually finish resolving to untap it that way. So you circumvent the untap clause here by way of using the tap cost to tee up the untap here. And it is the kind of combo where once you are able to start popping off, once you start putting Altar of Chrome activations on the stack, you can just hold priority, put 5,000 Altar of Chrome drains on the stack, and then pass priority and see what the opponent's got, rather than having to like pass priority every single time you activate Altar of Chrome. So it is very, very potent when you can get it online. I did not opt for Resource Inversion Altar of Chrome in my sideboard, specifically because I don't love it without Black Dawn Historian, and I did not love trying to push 3 colors in this version of this deck. I have spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to get Resource Inversion Altar of Chrome to work. Lee beat me to the punch, and certainly it is working out well for them. But I don't want to encourage you to get your hopes up that this will be something that you can lean on next month. And if you are worried about it, rest easy that this is not something you'll be able to lean on next month or have to worry about next month. Altar of Chrome is rotating in this next patch. So with Cyberose heading out the door, Terminal Impact is gone, Altar of Chrome combo also gone. So that's not really a plan to pivot this deck to. If we do have a new 2-card combo, then Black Dawn Historian could naturally work with that instead. But I also would not be surprised to see Historian or Last Wish get some sort of change to prevent that from being a problem moving forward. I'd imagine the Wish effect in general might be getting some attention. Last Wish might be getting some attention. Iviana might be getting some attention. We'll see where things land in the patch notes heading into May. But certainly the Resource Inversion combo is not going to be available anymore for this deck to lean on. So I do think the plan is going to be that you just need to have more tangible individual threats in the sideboard. Maybe that's Hoenn Champion, maybe that's Aurora, maybe that's something else either in one of these 2 colors or in a third color that you are playing alongside red and green. We'll have to see. I have some thoughts based on what we know is coming into the field next month, but again, I'm going to reserve a lot of those thoughts for the set reviews. So that is my thoughts on Red-Green Wish Ramp. Some last thoughts on the season as a whole. It was a very controlled, dominated season overall. We saw Jeskai Control take the top seat of, appear in the finals of every single GP this season. Every single standard GP this season. We saw Jeskai Control get 2nd place with Jeskai Battle Control in the hands of Dr. Chipmunk back in January. We saw Caillou get it 1st place with Jeskai Dragon Control in February, and then I got 2nd place with Jeskai Dragon Control last month in March. So Jeskai Control was really one of the big hallmarks of the Solitaire season, and that is owed a lot to how well Iviana Dragon Tamer works with the adventure spell dragons from Solitaire. Has really defined what Control can do in this season's environment. We've seen players bring that exact plan to Worlds, and obviously it has worked out pretty well for some of them. Again, Lee is on a different color combination for Dragon Control Teamer Dragons this month, and has taken that directly to the upper bracket finals. So it has been a month dictated. It has been a season dictated by Iviana and the dragons from Solitaire that have adventure spells attached to them. So we'll have to see if that continues to hold going into next season. But I will be fully honest. I hope it doesn't. I hope there are some changes that come to Iviana and potentially some of the dragons that Iviana can find that help to cut down on its overall prevalence in the coming months. Because I do feel like it has the chance to just overshadow what is coming down the horizon in future seasons. We've still got another 2 seasons of Iviana Dragon Tamer. Does not rotate out until January 2027. So we'll see how much Iviana gets changed, if at all. We'll see if any adventure dragons get changed. I think we are due to see some pretty big shakeups from where we are right now. This is certainly not a deck I would be heartbroken to see get some changes, though I know some people would be a little bit more emotional to see Iviana get hit. And I do hope that if Iviana gets hit, that there's still a way to play her without her feeling awful. But that's a very awkward needle to thread, and we'll have to see what the curators decide to do if they feel like anything needs to be done. Yeah, this very control-dominated format. I know I had some pessimism over if anything besides control could even necessarily work in this field, but I do want to say that for as much as my control woes have been validated over the course of this season's GPs, that is not to say that aggro has been dead necessarily. Lots of folks have been pushing aggro and mid-range into a lot of really fun places. We've gotten some really, really strong contenders and competitors coming back to the field, or coming to the field for the very first time this season. So certainly Solitaire season has been a ton of fun for what it has ended up being. I know not everybody has enjoyed the control meta to the way that others have. I know not everybody enjoys the control mirrors the way I have discovered I really enjoy them. But we'll see where things shake up, both with Cyberose departing and 2 new sets coming into the format. It's really exciting that we're going to be entering an 8-set revolution for the first time. Crazy to think that just a year ago we were a 6-set format about to go into a 7-set format for the first time. So it is a pretty wild shake up, all things considered. And I can't wait to record those set reviews and give you a peek into what we have coming and my thoughts on how to apply those cards. So with all of that being said and done, thank you all so much for tuning into my Worlds run. I'm sorry that it was so brief, but again, you can look forward to more Worlds coverage coming soon as those finals matches start getting played. I will try and record my commentary live if I can and get those videos out to you all as soon as possible. And I'm also going to be working hard behind the scenes to get ready for rotation. That means the set reviews and any other work that may be ahead of me more than usual. If you're curious to know what that means, again, you can check out the Discord server and see why I might be a little busier this month. And otherwise, you'll find out when we get into the set review proper. Thank y'all so much again for tuning in. If it is live, you can check out the upper finals match on the end card coming up in just a moment. If the set review is live, you can find that linked down in the description below. And otherwise, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hope you all have had a wonderful month, have enjoyed where Revolution has been and where Revolution is going. And until the next videos, I'll see you all in the Revolution chat. Bye-bye.